This is Anthony Richardson, and you're listening to RosterWatch.
This is AJ Brown, and you're listening to Roster Watch.
This is Josh Allen, and you're listening to Roster Watch.
Yes, Roster Watch Nation. How are we doing? It's a beautiful Thursday. I'm Cody Carpentier with Roster Watch Nation. We're here talking about the Roster Watch Pick'em Show brought to you by Underdog, U-N-D-E-R, dog. Sign up with that QR code on the right side of the screen. 50% deposit bonus up to $250. We've been on a major heat streak this year. To this point, we're 61% on the season. Personally, I'm 67%. We're 81 and 52 on weekly picks. 81 and 52, nearly 30 picks above 500. We had a down week last week, but we're coming off of an 82%er the week before that. Dropped back down to 50%, right? We're actually 46%, 6 and 7, completely transparent. 6 and 7 last week. But the trend line all season has been in the 70%, and then dropped down to like the 50%. 70, 50, 70, 50. Every other week has been like that all season long. Mad success. And we started doing prime time just a few weeks ago. And prime time is over 50% as well. Last week, we were 6 and 2, 75% on the week. So if you're taking these as one-offs, congratulations. If you're taking them on Underdog, where you have to put in at least 2, consider playing around with the selections that you do make. It's a big week. It should be a great game tonight with the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. This is a game we generally don't get on Thursday night football. This one is actually kicking off at it was weird. Amazon Prime said 7 Eastern. But I'm looking on like the Roster Watch matchup tool, and I'm looking on NFL GSIS, and they both say 8:15 Eastern time. I think that's Amazon Prime just saying, hey, come watch our pregame show, because it really spooked me. And I'll be honest with you, I jumped on here a little early tonight because I saw the 7 o'clock thing, and I go, well, I don't want to go live at 6:30 if the game starts at 7. So game starts at 8:15 Eastern time. I was okey-doked on that from the old Amazon Prime. Shout out, not a shout out. Baltimore 6 and 3. Cincinnati is 4 and 5. You look at the last few games for both teams. The last 5 for Cincinnati, they are 3 and 2. They beat the Raiders. They beat the Cleveland Browns. They beat the Giants. They lost to the Eagles 37-17. The Ravens, on the other hand, have obviously won 4 of the last 5. Their only loss come to Cleveland 2 weeks ago. They got back at home and blitzed the Denver Broncos. The Ravens are 8 and 1 against over-under. Bengals are 6 and 3. The over-under in this game is 52.5. It is raining here in South Carolina, which it's been raining for the last 2 days. And we're, of course, down the coast. So I haven't even looked at the weather, but there's potential. I would assume there's potentially rain, because if it's here and it's been here for 2 days, the coast flies up to Baltimore, and they get the majority. So we'll see what happens there. That's just kind of my thoughts off the rip. Against the spread this year, Baltimore's 5 and 3. Bengals are 5 and 4. The spread in this game is +6. The Ravens are favored by 6 in this one at home. You're not here for that, though. You're here for the best underdog picks in the community, in the industry, in the world, and that's what we're here to give you. Snowman, what's going on, brother? Let's go, big dog. All right, here we go. Hammer down. These are the 4. First and foremost, everybody knows, speaking of the big dog, Derrick Henry has been on an absolute heater since he was at Yulee High in Jacksonville. He's been on an absolute tear. Literally averaging, 10 yards per carry back then, 7 yards per carry in college, and 5 yards per carry in his career in the NFL. And to this point this season, these are his touchdown totals game by game. 2, 1, 0. But he had 169 yards on the ground. 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1. Those are just rushing. He also had a game, he also had 2 games with a receiving touchdown, and the one game he didn't have a rushing touchdown, and he had a receiving touchdown, so he's had a touchdown in every single game. The pick tonight is just simply Derrick Henry over a half, higher than a half rushing or receiving touchdown. He's did it every single week this year. And you're getting it at 0.75 times your dough. So we're throwing that one in. Might as well. They're giving it to us. Let's take it. It's not 1.5, it's half. So take it. Deontay Johnson, higher than 22.5 receiving yards. Deontay Johnson, of course, just joined the Baltimore Ravens this last week in a trade from the Carolina Panthers. I've seen that number move up and down all day. I've seen it at 24.5. I've seen it at 19.5. I took it at 21.5. So that's what it is. Deontay Johnson got opportunities last week. He had 17 receiving yards. The week before that in Carolina, he had 78. 3 weeks ago when he played the Cincinnati Bengals, or 4 weeks ago technically, he had 83 yards against the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't assume him to do that tonight, but I do assume him to be a little more integrated into this offense with a couple more. Simply put, if you get this thing at 19.5, 21.5, whatever you get it at, Deontay Johnson's talented enough to do that in one catch. I assume Deontay to have at least 3 catches tonight. So I love this number at 21.5, higher. And then Evan McPherson, kicking points, 6.5. We've been tailing some kicking points all year. I think our record is like something like 11-3 on kicking points to the point this season. McPherson's number, I believe, is still 6.5 kicking points. That's what I took it at. Again, the kicker for the Bengals. He's went over this just once in the last 5 games, and that was last week against the Raiders. He had 5 points against Philly, 5 points against the Giants, and 11 against the Raiders. They're going to need to score points in this one. He scored 4 kicking points against the Ravens the last time around. McPherson has not been as hot as he was the last couple of seasons, but I do believe in this one, we're going to get some more McPherson. Again, you go back to that game against the Bengals earlier this year, they scored 38 points. They went for 2 in this game once. McPherson, I think he had a miss at some point in that game. I'm not going to look it up right now. I think he had a miss in that game. So the opportunities were there. They scored 38. I think plenty of opportunities will continue to be there for McPherson. I like McPherson over 6.5. And the last one is Jamar Chase, 9.5 targets in this one. There's no T. Higgins. Again, a couple weeks ago when they played, T. Higgins had 14 targets. Jamar Chase had 12. There's no T. Higgins. I mean, Jamar Chase's career playing simply put against the Baltimore Ravens, it's been a pretty solid trend line to kind of follow. They traded for Tre'Davious White. They used to have Marcus Peters. He's burnt Marlon Humphreys. These are all players that Jamar Chase has had success throughout his career against. Don't really care who he's matched up against in this one with Baltimore. Kyle Hamilton could be on it for all I care. We just know Jamar Chase is going to eat when he plays against the Baltimore Ravens. These are his stat lines in his career. 12 targets, 7, 8, 13, 12, 10, and 10 for Jamar Chase. Again, the number tonight is 9.5 targets. He's the focal point of the Cincinnati offense in this game. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com today. Use that promo code ROSTER or RosterWatch and get a deposit bonus 50% up to $250. Ron Cloth said, should I drop Olave for Nick Westbrook-Akine? That's tough. I don't really want to drop Olave, but where that team's headed and with him having another concussion, that's a tough move to make. But I think in seasonal, it's something you might have to do if you need a starter this week for sure. I could understand it, Ron. I do like Akine. I talked about Akine on the waiver wire show just the other day with Trashman and Alex. You should go check that out. John in Cedar Park, he said, had my knee replaced yesterday, nothing like some post-surgery profits. There they are. Those are the 4 picks. Shout out to John in Cedar Park. Hope all is well. Derrick Henry to score a touchdown. Deontay Johnson, higher than 22.5 receiving yards. Evan McPherson, higher than 6.5 kicking points. And Jamar Chase, higher than 9.5 targets. Take them all. Take half. Take 2. Take 3. I don't care. Take what you want. UnderdogFantasy.com today. Also, head on over to RosterWatch. Tap in, tune in every damn day of the week. Rankings, shows, trade targets, you name it. The DFS information, everything is over at RosterWatch.com. I appreciate you. I love you. And we'll see you. Also, Souths go. We love Kelvin Austin. Get that right. We do. But Pat Frymuth is there. Mike Williams is there. I don't know if Mike Williams is going to do a damn thing. Van Jefferson looks all right, though. I picked up Van Jefferson this week. I picked him up in a spot. I might need to use him this week. I picked him up. Kelvin Austin, he's my boy. OG from Memphis. I mean, he is the if there was ever someone that had the twitch, the wiggle, the rubber ligaments in the kneecaps, the rubber ligaments in the knees, like Tyreek Hill, it was Kelvin Austin. I've seen him a lot in person. I love Kelvin Austin, South Go. So keep on keeping on. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. And we'll see you tomorrow for the weekend picks. Alex